Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to another Heat playoff post-game recap. Game 2 versus the Boston Celtics. Heat take another victory, 111-105 in Boston. Go up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics. And man, we just broke some hearts like your boy So predicted on 3 things to watch. Now, this game was very back and forth, right? And coming into this game, we knew we were going to get the Celtics' best punch because they knew it was a desperation game for them, right? They really had to come out and be a bigger offensive juggernaut than they were in game 1. And we were expecting to see something a lot more from as far as their stars go, right? Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But they really didn't have that. The Heat came out to a very effective start. Really were attacking the Celtics on defense, getting to buckets, getting open shots. And it really took the energy out of the crowd early in the game, throughout the entire first half, even at moments where Boston went up and had a little lead. The Heat were able to make runs and really drain the energy every time the Celtics got up or made a good run. The Heat would come back and answer. And, the bench was the kind of X factor tonight because early on in the first quarter, they gave up the lead that Jimmy and Bam had created early in the first quarter, we make some substitutions, second unit comes in, and we give up the lead to the Celtics. Jason Tatum was hitting some well-defended threes, right? And really was their own offensive weapon. And something that I noticed was the Heat, we have a tendency to go small because that's where our matchups are, right? And, when we can go small against a lineup, it makes it harder for teams to defend us because we got our better defenders already out on the floor, and we have guys who are able to pass the ball and really can make shots from anywhere. Boston in the second quarter, they went on a 17-2 lead to get the lead, 17-2 run, to get the lead. And, Martin was really that spark off the bench tonight. He ended up with 25 points, but the Heat went on their own 16-2 lead run to cut the lead with about 42 minutes left. Duncan had a really solid contribution in this quarter. Jimmy Bucket, he was able to get those timely key buckets for us tonight. And even in the second quarter when we needed it to stop their run, Jimmy was able to step up. The first half numbers were pretty clean for the Heat, right? We were up 54-50, right? Have a strong second quarter. At halftime, you have Jimmy Butler with 12 and nobody else in double figures. You had Adebayo with 8. Gabe Vincent had 5 points. Strus had 5 points. So it shows you that we hadn't kind of gotten off to the right foot offensively. But the good things were really good for us, right? We were 8 of 8 from the free throw line in the first half. That was huge for us because in game 1, we missed a lot of free throws that kind of gave Boston extra chances to not only tie the game or to try to get ahead. We shot the ball well, 41%, 20 of 48, and we hit 6 threes, which – again, you look at it and it's not a lot of points coming off the bench, but as a team for the Heat, we struggle finding these offensive rhythms. When we can get points and expect extra points from guys that are the unsung heroes, the Martins, the Gabe Vincents, the Strus, those extra contributions, the Duncans, those extra contributions really put this Heat team on a different level. And credit to the Celtics because after halftime, they came out and made that adjustment and came out with their own small ball lineup, and it really benefited them. They went on an amazing run. Jason Tatum was hitting everything, hit a couple of threes, had a dunk, and it looked like as the Heat went to the zone, Celtics figured out a way to attack their zone. And they were using a high pick and roll with an extra man coming off the baseline to either cut to the basket or stay back for a 3. And it was causing some trouble for the Heat. So credit to Boston for coming out with that adjustment. He had 15 points in the quarter, Jason Tatum, and was able to make plays to really put Boston ahead. But like I said earlier, every single time that the Celtics made a run, the Heat came back and had an answer. Every time the Celtics felt that they were getting ahead and putting this game even more out of reach, this Heat would come back and score 6, 7, 8, 9 straight points. It must have been so daunting for that Celtics lineup to feel that energy slipping away from you because you think that you have this game, right? You think you're building some momentum. The crowd is starting to get into the game. And every time you turn the corner, boom, there go the Heat with another answer. Boom, there go the Heat with another answer. And I said it earlier on the podcast, and this has always been our key thing for the season. Bam needs to get to 20 points. If Bam can get to 20 points, we have a really good shot of winning this game because we're always going to get something extra from another player. And that's exactly what happened tonight. Now, I must admit, Bam struggled in those first 3 quarters offensively. He got himself into some foul trouble. Maybe some questionable calls were made against him, but he wasn't necessarily making the good looks that he was getting. But that didn't deter him. He won 7 of 17 from the line, but he ended up with 22 points. And guess what? He made 8 of 8 from the free throw line with 17 rebounds. So for all the size that Boston may have, right? Robert Williams, Grant Williams, all those guys that they have that they can throw at us, Bam is making his presence felt physically. And that's more than we can expect from him, because we know he's going to bring the effort defensively. But when he's making that presence known on both sides of the court, just makes him a much more dangerous player. And then you pair that up to a guy like Jimmy Butler, who's able to do magical things on the court and really grind stuff out, possession after possession after possession. It just makes it really hard for the Heat to be beaten. Jimmy ends up with 27 points, 12 of 25, had 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. Another category that, again, the Heat always take advantage of. Celtics only had 2 steals, had 9 blocks, but he had 5 blocks of their own. And we ended up winning the free throw battle. We were 18 of 19. They were 21 of 24. So, yeah, we made all our clutch free throws. Shot better from 3. We had 34% from 3 to their 28%. They shot a lot more threes, 35, 9 more than the Heat. But the Heat didn't need that because we were getting timely buckets inside the paint. We were getting nasty putbacks. And, I got to show you guys one of these putbacks here from Bam. And this is the exact moment where the Celtics knew they messed up, right? We have Grant Williams talking shit here to Jimmy Butler, telling him he's washed up. And if you're a Heat fan, you know that that's just going to spark a guy like that. And since that, he went on like a 22-4 run. Grant Williams ended up having to sit down, and that allowed the Heat to take control of the game. We went from being down double digits to clawing it back to under double digits, and then to tying the game up, and then boom, getting the lead and never looking back. And a lot of that has to do with Jimmy Butler. He made some big shots for us. There was this one specific play where he's matched up with Bogdan, and Bogdan's giving him too much room. Jimmy's able to pump up, hit that clear jumper, and really, make another easy basket for a guy like himself. And I mentioned Bam's physicality earlier. If this is the way that Bam's going to play for the rest of the playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals, and in the finals, if we make it, we're going to win a championship. I'm going to say that again. If Bam continues to play like this, we're going to win a championship. Look at this hustle. Rebound. Put back dunk. Just the energy that he was playing with tonight is what everybody wants to see from Bam. And guess what? When he gives it to us, we have to be grateful and recognize, like, all right, this dude is really putting out his best foot forward and really trying hard. He's not going to always put up pretty numbers offensively, but this effort is what makes him stand out. This ability to do everything that a team may need: defend, rebound, hit shots, go after the offensive glass. I mentioned he has 17 rebounds, but guess what? The man had 2 big offensive rebounds, including that putback dunk that I just showed you guys. Just goes to show you, like I said earlier, Bam's, getting involvement early in the offense, involvement early on defending the pick and roll that Boston is setting up. It makes him feel like he is a part of the game, which then when it comes down to clutch moments, we can rely on Jimmy Butler because we know that the team's already paying attention to Bam, which makes it easier for him. Now, we have to shout out Caleb freaking Martin. This guy has been a godsend this season. He's been one of our most consistent players all throughout the season, including the playoffs. He has an amazing career night: 11 of 16 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 25 points in the 32 minutes that he played tonight. This guy is like really embodying that Heat culture. And if you look at the contract that we have for this guy and the cheap deal that we have him on, he is probably the best value that is in the NBA right now. This is a dude who's making over $1 million a year for the next 3 years for the Heat. And what he provides the Heat as a spark, as a defender, as a grittiness type player is unmatched. It's been unmatched this playoffs. Nobody has been able to match his effort. And like I said, when we get games like this from one of the guys, any one of them, Struz, Duncan, Vincent, we're gonna win games, and we make ourselves even harder to defeat. And I mentioned Gabe Vincent. He had 9 points tonight, but he made some big shots for us, especially in the fourth quarter. Struz, 11 points, but made some big buckets. Duncan freaking Robinson, 15 points, 3 of 6 from the three-point line, and getting 3 layups in the game off of backdoor cuts. Those are things that when the offense is clicking and the guys know that they have to do something extra, they're able to give us that. And as the game came down to the stretch, Bam had that offensive rebound and dunk. Gabe Vincent fouled Jason Tatum on a 3-point shot with 50 seconds left. Obviously a dumb foul, right? But come right back off a foul. Vincent comes down and makes 2 free throws. But we're led by one guy and one guy only, and that's Jimmy Butler. And this is what he does when it's time to end games. He gets to his spots and makes jumpers for us all game long. And when the Heat have that going from Jimmy Butler, we're impossible to beat. The guys on the broadcast were wondering why they weren't double teaming him. And it's for one reason only, because you can't. The moment you double team Jimmy Butler, he's so good at making the extra pass, finding the other guy to get involved. And the Heat's bench players and the guys on the court right now are doing an amazing job of making themselves available to a guy like Jimmy Butler. You're getting that full chemistry on the court, so you can't just throw a double team at Jimmy Butler and give something up because you're going to get hurt. And the Heat taking this second victory is huge. They went on a 22-4 run, like I said, when Williams started talking shit to Jimmy Butler. This is their 6th comeback victory by 10 or more points in the playoffs, down 12 tonight in the fourth quarter. This is the second game that Tatum disappears. Another fourth quarter without a field goal. All of his points, 11, that he scored in a total of 2 fourth quarters, have come from the free throw line. So he's been extremely ineffective, and his inexperience is really starting to show here in the end of games. Spo right now is obviously out coaching Mazzulla. Anytime that Boston got a little bit ahead or the Heat needed to calm down or make a good substitution, Spo was able to call a timeout, and not only call a timeout, work his specialty, which is getting a good executed play coming off a timeout in order to give ourselves an easy bucket. The Heat taking 2 games in Boston. A lot of people didn't see it. But the way that this team has been playing as of late on the road especially just shows you that they're not afraid to go into any building and win. And Jimmy Butler said it in the postgame. He's that confident in himself because of the fact that his teammates are that confident within him. So, man, it's an impressive victory. It's been an impressive series so far for the Heat. I don't know what type of answers the Celtics are going to come up with to try to get one of these next two games here in Miami. Game 3 being on Sunday at 8:30. It's a tall order to ask the Celtics to come out here after losing 2 tough games on their home court. And for the Heat, you got to feel like, man, you're halfway through the mission, and you have to keep this type of level of intensity up and keep your foot on their throats, figuratively speaking, to go ahead and put a good team out like Boston, because it's not going to be easy, right? We're going to expect them to bounce back. We're going to expect them to stand up from this haymaker we've landed and start throwing some punches. I want to see us respond at home, and I really feel confident in the unsung heroes, Vincent, Struz, Duncan, even Zeller tonight. He was a little bit off tonight on certain pick and rolls, but he had some big moments as well as far as gaining rebounds and just keeping them off the offensive glass. All those unsung heroes are playing critical minutes, but more importantly, they're providing critical roles. And in this game, you need that, especially in the playoffs. You need those critical roles to be met and to be played well, and the Heat are taking advantage of that, man. this bench is probably the best bench that has been playing in not only this playoff run, but in any playoff run. A guy like Caleb Martin having 25 points, I'm sure the Celtics weren't expecting that, but that's not a surprise to Heat fans because we've seen Caleb have these type of games before. Like I said, game 3 is on Sunday. It's going to be a big matchup. I got the Heat winning, and the fact that we have a realistic possibility at sweeping these guys when we could have swept the Bucks in the first, probably should have swept the Knicks if Jimmy doesn't play actually doesn't miss game 2. This team is very, very dangerous, and I must admit I wasn't the guy who had a lot of strong belief in this team, but this is the Heat team that I was expecting to show up, especially at the end of the season. And you know what? I'm glad they showed up like this during the playoff run because, man, it has been amazing to watch and it's been amazing to cover. And I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And as you guys know, this post-game recap is brought to you by Empire Boutique. They're keeping your boy fresh. You guys need to check them out on Instagram. Head on over to Miami Springs. Go get your dope 305 shirts like this one right here that says, "Hi, Aaliyah." You know I'm always repping. And, show some love. We're going to keep bringing you these recaps as far as the Heat goes, and it looks like we're going to go pretty far. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit the notification buttons, and the last thing you got to do is tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend so that they don't miss this one. It's your boy, So. Peace.